Hi, this is Ms. Holmes. We are moving on to Unit 9, which is nutrition and the gastrointestinal system. The gastrointestinal tract is also referred to the alimentary canal. And those are all the parts of the GI tract. Changes in the gastrointestinal system due to aging is a decrease in ability to taste. Digestion takes longer. Slow peristalsis leads to constipation. And remember, peristalsis is the wave-like motion that moves things through the colon. Difficulty chewing and swallowing. Decrease in absorption of vitamins and minerals. Decrease in saliva and digestive fluids. The functions of the GI system for ingestion, what we take in, digestion once it's in, and then elimination. And sometimes absorption is added in there after digestion, because you're absorbing, after you digest the food you need, then you absorb the vitamins and minerals. Some conditions that are problems of the GI tract, one is diverticulitis. It is inflammation of sacs that develop in the wall of the large intestines due to diverticulosis. That first picture is a diverticula. You can see the little pouches. And that's why somebody who has that can't eat seeds and popcorn, because those little fragments can get caught in those little pouches, and then they get inflamed and infected. Constipation is difficult and often painful elimination of a hard, dry stool that is common in the elderly. Rectal issues, fecal impaction is where dry, hard stool that remains packed in the rectum and cannot be expelled. Fecal incontinence is involuntary passage of stool or gas, also called anal incontinence. And hemorrhoids are enlarged veins in the rectum that can cause pain, itching, burning, and bleeding. Ostomy care, I will send you this video in a separate link. But that picture up on top there is what is the stoma, or the hole. So an ostomy is a surgical creation of an opening from an area inside the body. So this is, they've taken two pieces of colon, cut it, and then brought one of the ends out. Instead of stool coming out of the anus, it's coming out of the stoma now. It's a colostomy is the opening between the colon and the abdominal wall, and an ileostomy is the opening between the ileum and the abdominal wall. So it can be in different locations. If it's in the ileum, then it's going to be higher up on the stomach, and if it's a colostomy, it's going to be lower down the GI tract in the large intestine. Colostomy sites. So like I said, depending on where it is, done that A, the stool that comes out is going to be hard, almost like a normal bowel movement, because it's gone all the way through the GI tract. So it can be anywhere. On B, it's in the descending colon. In C, it's in the transverse colon. In D, it's in the ascending colon. And in E, we have two openings. A colostomy, a stool may be semi-solid or liquid depending on the area of the colon. So an ileostomy is going to be almost like gastric juices and very acidic, where a colostomy down by the rectum is going to be like normal stool. An ileostomy stool will be liquid. So you can see where the stoma is on this picture. It is in the small intestine, not in the large. So what comes out is liquid, and it's a lot of gastric juices in it, so it's irritating. And if they have to do an ileostomy, often that means that they've taken out the whole entire colon, large intestine. Diabetes, the body cannot produce or use insulin properly. Insulin is produced by the pancreas. Insulin is needed for glucose to move from blood into cells. Cells need glucose for energy. There are two types of diabetes. Type 1 is where the pancreas produces little or no insulin, and it's early onset. A lot of times juvenile diabetes is always type 1. Type 2 is where the pancreas produces some insulin, but the body does not use it properly. Onset slow. It begins later in life. Usually it's people who are inactive and overweight, and their body does not produce enough to keep up with their body weight. Treatment for diabetes type 1. You have to replace the insulin that the pancreas is not making, so they would see insulin shots, diet, and exercise. Type 2 sometimes can be controlled by diet and exercise alone, but usually they will try oral medications such as metformin first before they do actually insulin shots. But type 2 can also have to have insulin shots. It's usually not as much as a type 1 though. I'll send that link too. Hypoglycemia, which means low. Hypo is low, so low blood sugar. Low glucose is where the glycemia comes in. Symptoms are hunger, trembling, weakness, and confusion. The treatment is to report to nurse immediately. Observe that resident has snacks as ordered. Hyperglycemia, or high blood sugar. Symptoms are weakness, thirst, frequent urination, and in large amounts, and fruity odor to the breath. So, and then the treatment would be for you as a CNA to report its symptoms to the nurse immediately. Major complications from diabetes: wounds in the foot that won't heal, leading to amputation. And that is a common reason why somebody would have their toes or their foot amputated, is because of an infection that doesn't heal from being diabetic. So we're very careful with the feet of diabetics. Heart disease, damaged blood vessels in the retina, which can cause blindness, kidney failure, and a stroke. So as long as diabetes is controlled, you can avoid a lot of these complications. But someone who ignores their sugars, ignores taking their shots, is going to end up with major organ damage. Nutrition. I'm going to stop right there.